Hey guys, it is a new day, and good pitch, yeah. I last night after uploading videos, and maybe before, but after recording, I worked on a new 4-start thread. I used a piece of copper, which a pretty abundant supply of copper. Here's just some of it. Let me get this out of the way. But well, there's a lot of copper in there. There's more copper in there than brass. And so now I've got a very nice 4-start thread, and it is, I was calling this 13 threads per inch, but as it was pointed out to me, and I very much appreciate it, it is actually, the thread pitch is actually 13. So that is like the distance between peaks, I believe. George Wilkowski left a comment for me, and after I showed all these charts, and this is just, you know, one of them, but you can go back and look at that video, and he you know, explained a few things to me, and you know, basically told me, you know, follow these guidelines and, you know, it'll come to you, you know, you'll figure it out. And hopefully he's right, but I certainly do appreciate the guidance. This guy, you know, he doesn't have to educate me, but I certainly appreciate it. You know, he's got a life to live and things going on, and you know, it's like some of these, it's like when Brian Block called me, I was getting ready to, I actually tried to pay for a lathe locally, and the people were acting real wishy-washy, and they weren't going to let me take all the accessories to the lathe, the follow rests, the steady rests, the face plates. They weren't going to let me take any of that stuff, even though I would already have paid them full price for everything. So I just said, you know what, you know, you guys get your heads screwed on, and I'll see you later. You know, you've been trying to sell this lathe for months, and I'm standing there with the money in my hand, and they want to squabble over me taking some of my possessions. It is weird. But anyway, Brian Block, I kind of passed on that story in a video, and Brian Block emails me and says, don't give them people a dime. And he gave me a link to, I wish I knew that. You guys will recognize the name of the company. It's up in Cleveland, just outside of Cleveland. And he introduced me to the Pratt and Whitney. He said that it had been listed on eBay for like $2,500, and they had it on their website for an equal amount, and nobody, you know, it's not a Monarch, you know, or a Colchester or a LeBlond, and it doesn't have the name recognition, I guess, with most people. So they kept lowering the price. I guess every month or every couple of weeks they would drop the price, you know, 10 or 15%. And when it came down to me, it was under $650. So I was getting ready to give these other people $1,100 for something I would have spent a couple of months just cleaning, well, at least a month. And I'm like, what's this guy Brian Block, you know, what's he even looking at my videos for, you know? The guy's got, you know, several jobs, he farms, and He's a very talented machinist, and yet, like George Wachowski, who's just a subscriber, will take the time out of their day and pass some information on to me. I'm not the smartest when it comes to mathematics, and I guess I don't know if I know there's a lot of high mathematics and machining and trigonometry and blah blah blah. Yeah, I never learned any of that stuff, and kind of yeah, regardless. So anyway, let's get back to the 4-thread start. I'm going to make a nut now, and I cut off a 1-inch piece of my brass hex bar, put a new blade in my saw, and despite it only being a supercut, 14 raker tooth pattern, 1/2 inch width. Boy, it sure did. It sure outperformed the original blade that came on that machine, which I frankly probably wore out. Putting off installing it for a month probably, because I didn't know how to do it. And you open up the back door and you can see how to do it. It's pretty simple. Okay, so there's my 1-inch piece of hex with a carbide tip center drill I'm going to use for a starting drill. And here's my copper 13 pitch 4-start threads, and we put the starts. There's 12 o'clock, there's a start, 12 o'clock, there's a start, 12 o'clock, there's a start, and 12 o'clock, there's a start. So good looking threads, everything's clean. So now for the nut. Okay, this thing is basically 7/8. So the drill size is 49/64, or 0.7656. So 0.765. What the hell is that number all about? That's the diameter of my bar. So with my threads, yeah, I'm confusing myself here. It's 110 thousandths difference. So basically, the hole that I'm boring in the blank nut is 110 thousandths short of the 7/8 765. So I have a I think it's a 15/16 drill, and that'll get me to boring, and I will, when I get down to the boring task, I will have 78,000 to bore, and then the threading can commence. Yeah, there it is. Okay, I slowed down to 314 RPM. Now one thing, let me pause this. One thing I experienced using the back gear, and I erroneously made a statement that if this isn't engaged, the back gear doesn't work. If this is not moved up to this position, because when I first got this lathe, I made this chart. But the point is initiating the back gear has given me all these new RPM speeds. So this is the back gear with the lever engaged, the chuck engaged I call it. So I got 69, 113, 44, 271. And without it engaged is 136, 580. So this is kind of my key to my gearbox. I simply, I don't have the plate that has the symbols or the numbers, but I simply designated A, B, C, and then on this lever 1, 2, 3. So you know, one of those combinations is the corresponding RPMs. So I'm going to just go straight to my full-size drill. If I should slow that down or not. I'm going to take it down. Well, I got 11 more speeds I can choose from. Go all the way down to 44 RPM. Joe Pye demonstrated a method. Now it was for turning brass, and what I got from it, sometimes if you're turning something that's half an inch and you need 100 thousandths, 150 thousandths, just take the whole amount in the first pass. That's kind of my concept here on just using my final drill. And the fact that we're drilling into brass, probably, yeah. I'm not sure I would do this if I was, well, I definitely wouldn't be doing it if I was cutting into the material that I had yesterday. But you know what? That might not even matter. We're about 3/4 of the way through there. I'm going to move my quill's getting a little overextended. So I'm going to take that in. Even though I'm going to be boring this, it's still, that quill starts moving around and all of a sudden you got a taper you weren't expecting. last night after I left you, I ended up turning steel and copper, filling my chip pan, up to the set. So I've cleaned all that out, and I've lined my chip pan with cardboard. That's the part that gets you when you're on a drill press. That's why you should always have your work clamped. Okay, so I chose to do the handheld so I can actually show you what I'm doing rather than just focus on the one thing. There's a piece of cardboard I put in here and extract that brass. I've got quite a collection so far. Let me see, I got 3 full jars and probably 3.5 of these. Well, that's more than a quart. That's probably a quart. But yeah, we got a future casting project. Okay, I'm going to set up the boring bar now. I'm going to start with, I think, I'm going to start with this 1/2 inch one. Or that's probably not even 1/2 inch. And then, what's this one here? That's a threading tool. I have a heavier boring bar. It's probably already mounted. Yeah, there it is right there. And that's a good 1/2 inch, I believe. Okay, we got a pretty good view of that from there, I guess. Now, I don't really have the clearance for that bar, but the cutter is going to move ahead of my bar and make a pathway. I do want to kind of get a rough idea of how many thousandths of an inch I'm trying to travel here. So let's call that 0. I'm gonna just put this on 100 and I'm gonna pull that back 40. How much do I need to do altogether? Like 78 altogether. I may need to raise that bar and just run my cutter a little high. So there's 40. There's 50. I'm not sure if that's going to give me 60, 70. I don't want to take any more than 78. I'm going to raise the bar just a little bit. So that has clearance, and I can take it back down to the proper height after I get that hole widened a little bit. Okay, so let's start the phase converter. Let's do this at We're going to do this at 314. We're going to do this at 490. So 2A. I'm going to put this on feed and get my direction. Directional lever going. That throws a lot of chips out the back of that. So we're going to get a measurement on that hole. Just going to do a rough measurement for now. And 741. What's my number I need? I think I need 765. I need to open up to 765. Okay, I believe I got this set to take 12 thousandths. I need a total of 24. So I just want to kind of see how make sure my backlash or anything isn't going to make me go over. This might be 12 here. put in 9 from there and touch it off. So I'm thinking I should have about 12 thousandths left after this. Okay, I did not pull the tool back after going through there, because that's what happened the last time when I couldn't. I kept dialing 12 thousandths and wasn't getting anything because I wasn't starting at a 0 point. So I'm kind of guesstimating that I have about 12 thousandths more to go. Okay, and we'll go 769 and a half, 769, 770. See what repeats. $769. What's my number I need? $765. So I just need 4 thousandths more. 2, 1, 2, 3. There's 4. Okay, let's get a look at that. It's going to be upside down for you. Seven, 7, 6. Seven, 7, 6. My number is supposed to be 765. Oh, I can be way off. Hell, I'll come back and watch the video and find out where I screwed up at. Seven, 6, 8. 7, 6, 9. 7, 6, 8.5. The difference is probably the difference between the center of the bore, the rear of the bore, and the face of the bore. Seven, 6, 5. 7, 6, 5, 6. 7, 6, 5. That's what I want. That's perfect right there. Now let's see what it says on the inside. On the other side, rather. Seven, 6, 9. 7, 6, 9. Let's check the center of the bore. $770. You know what? I'm going to go with that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and chamfer these ends before we start the threading. I actually like that, but I don't like all the run out of that. I'm going to take that nut in a little deeper, get a little better grip on it. Now, I'm going to take it some more and I'm going to face it. Okay, then we'll face that off. Power feed involved here. Alright, I like that. I need to chamfer the inside there. Okay, I got this large parallel against my tool holder and the part, and that's square. So, all that's locked in. My tool is square to my work. And that's it for preparing stock for a 4-star thread nut. And it is a 13 pitch. Okay guys, like and subscribe, tell a buddy, bring a friend. And, see you with part 2. 4-thread start nut. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.